Hi there guys, it's me again, Ryan JC, Ryan James Crawford. In today's video, we're going to be discussing your potential as it pertains to a specific meditation that allows you to spiritually evolve upwards of 1 year in just 20 seconds. Kid you not. Okay, this meditation practice is called the art of super realization. I've been doing it for the past month. It works. It's really, really weird in that it does specific things to your awareness. It makes you very aware. Not only that, but the way in which it allows you to reach these heights of I don't even know what to call it. It's quite impressive. And I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. But before I do that, I would first like to congratulate Miku and Regima for successfully astral projecting using my 10-step astral projection method available at ryancropper.com. I get so excited when people are finally able to do it. And not only that, but to help you guys move along a little further with your practices, I create an astral projection starter kit. Okay, it's super cheap. And towards the end of the starter kit, I give out a meditation that awakens your astral body. Okay. At the beginning of the kit, I heavily go into your mentality, unblocking your blockages towards astral projection. And then towards the end of the kit, I go into that meditation. Okay, and so without further ado, let's get into this meditation, the art of super awareness, super realization. Right? This meditation was brought forth to the world by Babaji, and then one of his disciples transcribed his original teaching into English and spread it throughout the world, right? It's really difficult to get a hold of this meditation. It took me quite some time, but after practicing it, I became an expert. Not only that, but I decided to also practice this meditation whilst under the influence of edibles. Now, before you turn off this video, say, Ryan, that's not so spiritual. I use psychedelics in order to give me the edge. I find it helps quite a lot when it comes to me trying to decipher what to do right. Whenever I take edibles, my body becomes very, very sensitive. And so it's very easy for me to figure out what it is that I'm doing wrong and what it is that I'm doing right. And so I've only done this on edibles twice. I've been doing this for over a month, right? Every day, twice a day, because that's what's recommended. And, you're supposed to do this in the morning and then once in the evening. The reason as to why you evolve spiritually upwards of 1 year in just 20 seconds is because you're breathing in for 10 seconds and you breathe out for 10 seconds. Okay, that's equal to 1 complete Kriya yoga exercise. Okay, and it's done in a very specific way, which allows you to evolve. As a beginner, in the morning, you do 14 breaths. 10 in, 10 out. 10 in, 10 out. 14 times. You can also practice this upwards of 25 times. All right? 25 breaths in the morning and in the evening. I've realized that if you just time yourself for 5 minutes, you'll hit 14 to 16 breaths. That allows you to take your attention off of counting, which then, gives you more focus towards your actual practice, right? But, first off, why is it? Why is it that it allows you to evolve so rapidly? Well, yogis figured out that we naturally evolve within the duration of a year because of our exposure to solar rays, as well as the 12 zodiacs, some say 13. Okay. During this Kriya yoga practice, you use your awareness acting as the sun, and you move it up your spine, feeling a cool current all the while. You shift your attention to the forehead, and then over the top of your head, down the back of your spine, feeling a warm current all the while. Eventually resting at your coccygeal plexus. The cold current is the prana current, the prana flow. The warm current is the apana flow. Okay, These are very significant when it comes to Kriya yoga and breath work as a whole, Because the upper current deals with death, the prana current deals with life. They say that when your upper current is stronger than your life current, then you're suited to die. Okay, especially if it's the only one working at that point, you're going to die. If not, you're probably already dead. And so during the duration of this exercise, I don't want you thinking, okay, I've got to make sure that my life current is stronger than my upper current. You actually have to make sure that they're the same so that you can create an electromagnetic field around your body. Yeah. Because when you move your awareness up your spine whilst breathing in, feeling that cool current coming up your spine throughout the vertebrae, eventually it goes through the brain and then it rests right here at your brow chakra. When you do that, you create a magnetic field because, first off, wherever your consciousness is, you gather electricity, bioelectricity. And as that awareness moves up with you cooling your spine, that cooling sensation also creates electricity. You're stimulating the nerves. This creates an electrical charge, right? And then as you come down the spine as well, in turn, you create an electrical charge. Only this time around, the feeling of warmth allows you to charge up your spine. It allows you to feel more into the spine, creating more electricity there. You'll notice that you might feel the majority of your electrical buildup within the coccygeal plexus, the base of the base of the spine where it's not fused anymore. Because at some point, if you're human at least and not an alien, your coccyx, the vertebrae at the base of your spine are fused. And so that area will become very, very warm, indicating that you have a lot of electrical activity there. As this electrical activity makes its way under the tailbone and then up the spine, all the way up here, then back over the head, and over again, 14 times, this magnetizes your spine, and in turn, it magnetizes your cells. All right? Not only that, but as you're doing this, it charges the body, but it also allows an additional prana flow to come in through the brow, which then further fills you up with prana, life force, extending your lifespan, among other things. Okay, and so I'm going to teach you how to do this, right? But first I'm going to show you some additional things that you can do, and I'll explain as to why you need to do them. And then as I move along throughout this technique, I'll tell you what's happening with your body as well as show you what it should sound like. That'll make more sense in a second. All right, and so the first thing that you have to do is you take your finger and you place it on your chin, okay? And you just move it down and then back up and then down and then back up. And you'll notice that every time you do this, the vertebrae in your spine will feel like they're elongating, okay? Every time you do it, you'll also notice that the vertebrae that elongate make their way further and further down your spine. Right? And that makes sense. The more you allow your spine to come up, the more of your spine will come up every time that you do it. Eventually, you'll feel like your coccyx actually wants to come up as well as your tailbone. And so it's important that when you do this, you allow your spine time to adjust to the movement, okay? If you don't allow your spine time to adjust, what's going to happen is you're going to actually constrict the muscles surrounding your spine, supporting your spine, which will then cause your spine to lock up, kind of shift out of place, and you won't get a nice straight feeling that we're shooting for here, okay? Because that's the reason as to why we're doing this. You want to do this so that your spine can elongate and fix itself. It shouldn't feel tense. You'll notice that if you just do this a few times, all you've got to do is focus on moving your chin down and allowing your spine to come up naturally in time with your motion. That's it. Don't try to move your spine up and force it, because then again you're going to tighten your spine and cause it to lock up and basically shift out of alignment. And so that's all you do. And you'll notice that when you just sit there, your spine automatically feels erect. Okay, that's really good. The next thing that you have to do is work with your hands. Take your hands, put them on your knees, bring them towards your hip bone or your waist. And then whilst they're there, notice as to what happens. You can slide your hands back and forth out to your knees, then back to your hip bones. You'll notice that your shoulders want to come back, okay? This is really important because you're supposed to have a straight back. And so your chest needs to be out a little bit. Not crazy out like Superman, but just a little bit. You'll notice that when you bring your hands backwards, that your chest naturally wants to come out at a comfortable position. And not only, again, does that allow your spine to be straight and in the middle directly, but you're not tensing your back muscles at all. You see, if I was to tell you to take your hands like this and move them back, you'd be basically tensing like you're working out, right? Whenever you tense muscles, you obstruct current in the body because you're having to put an electrical charge in the muscle in order to stimulate it and keep it shut, like that, keep your traps trapped. And that traps current flowing throughout the nervous system of the spine. And so when you put your hands on your knees, bring them towards your body, you'll notice that your shoulders naturally come back and you're relaxed, allowing the flow to better flow down during the exercise, okay? The next thing that you want to do is you take your eyes and you just basically want to try to feel this. It's a really weird squishy sensation, but you try to feel it anyway by doing boss-eyed or cross-eyed and keeping your gaze fixed on your brow chakra or in between the eyebrows. Your eyes have to be half closed, so not all the way open. And when you do this, it's really important that you're able to do this correctly. Thankfully, I'm recording this video for the fifth time, because throughout the many iterations of this recording, I've had time to figure this out. That squishy feeling that you feel has to be the same at the tailbone also, because whenever you create a magnetic field, you're stimulating magnetic poles. I believe this one is the negative pole, and your coccygeal plexus is the positive pole. This will make even more sense in a moment. And so feel that squishiness, because that means you're activating that pole, and just allow yourself to sit straight back, eyes locked, okay? You'll know when it's time to move on, because your awareness can flow elsewhere and your position isn't shifting, your spine isn't going crazy, and your eyes aren't just going back to normal all of a sudden, okay? I often say that when your mind is wandering and you're thinking about tomorrow or the events of today, then that means that you're ready to move on, because you've basically locked yourself like this automatically. It's kind of become subconscious at that point. And so then what you want to do is you want to activate your apana current, okay? Because in the beginning of this process, you need to activate the channels adequately so that you can feel the current moving. The way that you do that is after you feel like you're doing this pretty well, take your left hand, put it behind your neck, and then take your right hand and put it on your forehead. Take a very slow, subtle, deep breath in to the base of your lungs, out towards the back, then back out again. Okay, and sit there and do that at least 5 or 6 times. You'll notice that your forehead will get warm. This is a Taoism practice to activate qi. And the top of your head, your crown, will get warm, as well as your entire spine, including your coccygeal plexus, where that pole is. All right? This is very important because feeling that warm current of apana is quite difficult in the beginning. And so do that until you feel like it's really warm. Don't worry, you're not gonna die straight away because you can't feel the cold one. We're gonna activate that next. And so what you gotta do is again, move your hands back to where you were. Keep your eyes like this. Get back into a nice steady state where you feel normal and you don't feel like you're putting much effort into your posture at all. Your back is straight because of the previous exercise and your eyes are locked. You take a very deep breath in, starting with your tailbone, if that makes sense. Take your finger and put it on your tailbone so that you know where it is. Place your attention there and breathe in with the sound of ha, making sure to keep your awareness on your spine as your lungs inflate, because as your lungs inflate, you feel that cold current traveling up all the way through your brain to your brow chakra. It feels like a brain freeze. Now, it's important that you're able to visualize. I say this entire process is 10% visualization, 90% feeling into the body, because again, the feeling is what creates the electrical charge. It's important that you visualize where your spine is so that your mind can move there, because as your mind moves there, that's what's going to create the coldness, because as you breathe in through the mouth like so, you make all the nerves sensitive around your chest, your gut, and even your throat. And they're going to stay there. That sensitivity is going to stay there unless you move your awareness back to your spine. You see, the very act of moving your awareness back to your spine is what actually makes that current travel into the vertebrae and up progressively as you inhale. I like to do an extra at the end because then I get that real brain freeze feeling, like, you know what I mean? And so try that a few times. It should look like this. Okay, and then just relax. Do that a few times to activate the prana current, right? And take your time with it. Then you need to activate your apana current. And the way that you do that is when you feel that cold right here, that brain freeze, gradually shift your awareness to your forehead, all right? And then try to notice what's warm there, whatever's warm. And as you shift your awareness there, exhale with the sound of E, allowing yourself to relax and your spine to relax. And then shift your focus over the head and down your spine. Okay, in the original text, a lot of people, they're under the assumption that they have to keep their awareness fixed in between the eyebrows, because they're keeping their eyes locked like this. But you don't have to. It's very important to know this. You don't have to. Your eyes just stay locked. Your awareness can travel anywhere else in the body. But for the purpose of this exercise, it has to travel down the back of the spine and up the inside of the vertebrae. Okay? Imagine where the spine is. If you need to, imagine a cold tube running through the vertebrae of your spine. Cold air coming in, freezing that tube all the way up to your brow chakra, right here. And so, 10% visual, 90% feeling. Shift your attention to the forehead on the exhale. E, down, you'll feel the warmth down the spine, resting at the coccygeal plexus. And then you'll also feel it shift as you inhale again with the sound of ha. A little forward, maybe about an inch, and then it'll feel cold all the way up as it travels through the vertebrae up to the brow again. And so the exhale is like this. Okay, then you shift into the inhale. Take your time with it. You'll know when you're doing the right thing because usually around the fourth go around, your feet and your lap gets warm. It's because whenever you have a magnetic field around the body, half of the field is warm, the top half is cold. Alright, so you'll actually feel the field being generated around your body. Do this every morning again, 14 times 25 if you want. I recommend not counting because it distracts you from the process. And work on 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out. Make sure that they're the same if you can. Eventually it'll become natural and you won't have to count anymore. You might find that as your weeks and months go by, not only does your awareness sprout into so many different directions and you start to come to specific realizations about yourself that might be difficult to deal with or easy depending on who you are, but you might find that you start to see weird things in your environment. Spirits, you might hear voices, mainly spirits though. But that all comes second to the awareness. Again, the title is The Art of Super Realization. And so this is all secondary, these things that happen. Your emotions as well might become quite intense in that every time that you do this, you make your nervous system more and more capable of holding an electrical charge. And so your emotions become more strong, for better lack of a word. They're intense. Not only that, but your body's connection to your mind becomes intense, especially your emotional body. If you have a negative thought, your emotional body will become active pretty quickly. And so make sure that you can control your thought process in regard to your emotional state, and you should be fine. If you feel like physically you're hurting in the body, maybe it's too sensitive, or that your mind is too all over the place, then stop for a few days. Just stop. Allow yourself to integrate, or in other words, to deal with psychologically what it is that you're figuring out, and then go back to it when you feel like you're ready. Okay, so that's going to be about it for this video, guys. This has been the art of supervisualization meditation. It's amazing. Try it out. I'll leave a link to the original video in the description below. It's difficult to find unless you know what it's called, the video title. And again, do these little meditations first in the beginning, because that will allow you to, well, first off, keep your back straight without you during the practice of this Kriya exercise, without you focusing on whether or not your spine is straight, having to move your awareness and adjust yourself every few seconds, Make sure to activate your upper current so that you're not having to sit there and think, is this working? I don't know, maybe this is just stupid. Activate it first so that you know without a doubt that it's working. And take your time to sensitize the spine, especially the prana flow, so that you know that what's happening in the beginning isn't a failure. It's just you attuning your body to this new current of energy. It's not actually new, it's been flowing through your entire life. It's just now you're going to become aware of it in excessive amounts. If you're interested in anything else that I have to offer, any other meditations, then you can check out my website, ryancropper.com. I have meditations on astral projection. Again, that starter kit is there. It's been out for the past week, 5 days maybe. Okay? Or you can book a session with me if you need any advice on spiritual matters or life matters. I am a spiritual life coach, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Take care. Peace. Okay, actually, before I close this video down, I would just like to make you aware of a couple more things that you can do in order to feel that cooling current even more, as well as the warm current even more, traveling down your spine. Okay? The first thing that you have to do to feel that cooling current is on your inhale with the sound of ha, you just shift your jaw forward just a little bit and open your throat. You can also bring your tongue back a little bit, not too much to the point where you're choking yourself, but just a little bit to really open that throat, right? And so it looks and sounds like this. You see? That will allow you to bring in a far greater amount of air, cool air, if you've got aircon, turn it on, cool air into the lower regions of your body, effectively cooling the lower regions of your spine. Of course, that's going to help a lot because you're placing your awareness at the base of your spine to begin with. So you need to feel that cooling sensation there first. And as you breathe in, your diaphragm expands, bringing that cooling sensation even further up through your brain to the midpoint of your eyebrows. Okay? Now, when it comes to the subtle adjustment for your upper current, that warm sensation traveling down your spine, in order to feel it better, what you got to do is on the exhale with the sound of E, you simply take that tone and you bring it down, lower the pitch. So it's E. When you do that, you'll notice that the vibration generated by the E lowers down into the body. You can actually feel it in your belly. You can take your hand, you can put it on your stomach, start off high, E, go low, E. You'll feel it just carries that vibration much lower. This brings your senses lower into the body, allowing you to better take that warm current and travel it past the midsection of your spine down to the coccygeal plexus. The reason as to why I mention the lowering of the tone when you say E is because in the original text they note as to how you can't actually feel that warming sensation travel past the midsection of your spine, making its way to the coccygeal plexus. They say that it's your awareness that actually brings it down to complete that actual circuit. But I noticed that if you just bring the tone further down, it helps in making your awareness travel further down past that midsection of the spine, making its way to the coccygeal plexus, allowing that heat to actually travel all the way down. All right? And there's no surprise there that I figured that out on cannabis. And so try this out and let me know how it goes. Either shoot me an email or put it in the comment section below so that everyone else can see and hear of your results. If you come up with better ways of doing this, then also let them know so that everyone can progress very well with this practice. Okay? Don't divert too much from the original text. Just do things that make what's supposed to happen easier, more effectively. And I'll speak to you all pretty soon. Take care. Peace.